Overeating is something that many of you may be experiencing, and it's something that I've personally experienced in the past, and it makes life very difficult when you can't control what you eat. I'm now in complete control over the amount of food that I eat and the types of foods that I eat, and I'm going to share with you in this video how you can get to that same position so that you can lose weight in a sustainable way long term and make that effortless, make it a part of your lifestyle, and so that you actually have a healthy relationship with food. Before anything else, you must understand what's going on inside your body. So when your stomach is empty, you release a hormone called ghrelin. Ghrelin is your hunger hormone, and that basically signals to you that you need to eat some food. Once you are full, ghrelin levels come back down again so that you're not hungry anymore. The problem we have in the modern world today is food is so accessible. You can eat whenever you want. Unfortunately, from a survival standpoint, us humans are designed to eat as much as possible when we get access to food, because throughout the history of time, food has not been as accessible as it is today. The way it's been throughout human history is some days you would eat, other days you wouldn't. It was dependent on if you could catch food, if you could find food.
Powerhouses, they're like mini tanks really. Wild pigs have tusks and sharp teeth.
And so actually we are designed to eat as much as possible in just one sitting. Every time we eat food, we are designed to eat as much of that food as possible. Of course, in the modern world, that is not good for us because we have so much access to food. We can eat endless amounts of food, it's everywhere. And that is why we have to deploy self-control.
Oh boy, is my mouth watering. You're gonna want to put a big dollop of that tangy red dead center on the dough.
And a different mindset shift towards food, and make sure you apply the tips in this video. In my mind, there's two kinds of people. So the first one is somebody that is just overweight or obese. That person sees food as pleasure. They see food as a quick dopamine hit. They go for the food that tastes the best, and that is all they think about. They're not mindful about what they eat or how many calories they eat. It's all about, I want food right now, let's just go and satisfy that need every time that craving happens. So for that person, you don't have an eating disorder, you don't have a problem with food, you are simply unconscious, you are not making conscious decisions about your nutrition. And the way that I would teach that person to change their mindset is to think about food as fuel. So fuel like just what you would put in your car. If you don't have the right kind of fuel in your car, the car won't move. It's the same with your body. If you put the wrong type of fuel, and if you put junk food and sugar and loads of carbohydrates and chocolate into your body, the body won't work how it should. So you need to see food as fuel, not food as taste. And you can make healthy meals taste good, but you need to be thinking more about the food that you eat and how that is fueling your body. So focusing on foods like beef, chicken, eggs, fish, fruits, vegetables, potatoes, those kinds of foods should be the kinds of foods that you're eating. And it's that mindset shift. Every time you consume calories, when you pick something up, look at that and go, is that fueling my body? Ask yourself the question, do I really need to eat this right now? Is this a structured meal throughout the day that I am mindful of? Also, for that person, you need to lose some body fat. So a great way to do that, take your body weight in pounds, multiply that number by 12 and eat that many calories per day. That's a rough estimate as to how you can start losing some body fat for that person. The second type of person is me, and most likely you as well. And this is someone that's dieted down to get to a low body fat or just to lose a large portion of weight. And because you've been in that calorie deficit for so long, you've created unhealthy obsession with food, and it means that every time you get a chance to eat food, you tend to binge eat food. You can't stop yourself. Even when you're full, even when you don't need any more food, you still keep eating food. That was my problem. I dieted down to such a low body fat that I was so hungry all the time, and I just kept binge eating food. Here are the things that I did personally to overcome this problem, and now I have a great relationship with food. The first one is slow down. When you eat your meal, slow down. It takes around 15 to 20 minutes for your body when you're eating to signal to your brain that you're actually full. So don't eat your meal in 5 minutes. Take 15-20 minutes. Just slow down when you eat that meal. The most important time for somebody like you is right after when you've just eaten that meal. When you've eaten your biggest meal of the day or any kind of food, that first 10 minutes is extremely crucial. It's those 10 minutes where you're going to make the decision whether you're going to eat an extra 500 calories or 1,000 calories, or whether you're going to be satisfied with that meal and then go on to do whatever you need to do during your day. And so that 10 minutes needs to be filled in. Once I have eaten my meal, I know, I'm mindful, I'm conscious every day, I can't go and eat more food right now because I will go and binge eat if I do that. So I have a substantial meal. My meal is usually around 800 calories. That's an average for my dinner, and I know that that meal is more than sustainable. I don't need any more than that. So what I do that first 10 minutes after, I'll go sit down, I'll drink some water, and then I will immediately go on my laptop and start doing work. That's what I choose to do, and within 10 minutes any craving that I have has gone away. For you, you might go outside and do 5 to 10 minutes worth of walking. There are studies that actually show how much this can help reduce body fat, walking after every single meal. It might be meditation for 10 minutes. It doesn't matter what it is, but that first 10 minutes, you have to really dial yourself in and think about what you're about to do. I would also advise you guys to not try and get too lean. If you're trying to get to 6, 7, 8% body fat, like I have, it's very difficult and it's hard to maintain long term. I wouldn't recommend that. It's not a healthy body fat to be at unless it's for your work or for some other reason. I wouldn't really recommend that. What I would recommend is stay in the sort of 10 to 14% body fat, especially that 10 to 12 range. It's something that is sustainable, that you can maintain long term, and you're going to look great. You'll still have abs, you'll still be lean at that body fat without starving yourself. The next thing that really helped me out was to make sure that you strategically cook your meals and set your meals out for the day, so you know what you're going to eat that day. You shouldn't be just eating at random. You should already know what you're about to eat, and you should know how much of that food you're about to eat as well. So like I said earlier, if I have an 800 calorie dinner, there is no need for me to cook more food. I don't need to cook 2,000 calories worth of food. I just cook enough for what I need for that meal. If you eat out a lot, it's the same thing. If you go to a restaurant, don't order loads and loads of food because you're going to feel obligated to eat that food because it's in front of you. You're that kind of person just like me, where if the food is in front of you, you will eat the food. So order a nice amount of food. Order a nice meal. There is no need to order the biggest thing on the menu. One of the best things you can do is to not have junk food in your house. I spoke earlier about chicken and fish and beef and those kinds of foods. Have those kinds of foods in your house, and cereals and loads of sugar and carbohydrates. They shouldn't be in your house. If you don't have them in the house, guess what? You can't eat them. And that is the best thing to do. When you have no choice and you have to opt for the healthy option, like cook some eggs up or go for the Greek yogurt or whatever that is, you then cannot go and eat that junk food. And junk food is just going to make you more and more hungry because carbohydrates spike your insulin and that just makes you more hungry. For me personally, I do intermittent fasting. However, I wouldn't really recommend fasting for you guys who have a bad relationship with food. Fasting is great, but it's probably not for you. So if you're going to eat breakfast, make sure that breakfast is protein and fats, no carbohydrates. That's going to fill you up throughout the day. A great breakfast is always going to be eggs and some kind of beef. And just eat that together. You've got protein, you've got fats, you've got the healthy vitamins and minerals, you've got the nutritional powerhouse that is eggs and beef, and that will fill you up later in the day. What you don't do is start your day with cereals or croissants, those kinds of foods. The next thing is don't eat out of emotion. Making emotional decisions is one of the worst things that people do. They get stressed, they have an argument with their wife or girlfriend, and what do? They go and eat food. You need to replace that habit because that's all it is. If you get stressed and then your brain goes, right, I need food, that's just a built up habit over time, just the same as brushing your teeth in the morning. You don't think about brushing your teeth every morning, you just do that because you've done it for so long. It's an unconscious habit. So what you need to do is replace that habit with something else. So every time you get stressed or whatever your personal trigger is, go play with your dog, go play with your kids, go for a 5-minute walk, do a 1-minute sprint, meditate for 5 minutes. It doesn't matter what that habit is, you need to replace that habit with something else, and don't eat every time out of emotion. You eat to fuel your body. Remember that mindset shift. You eat because food is fuel for your body. You don't eat out of emotions. The other thing I really want to offer you guys, and this is a very unpopular opinion, is you don't have a disease or a disorder. Use your language very carefully. It's when people start calling themselves, I've got this disorder, this is wrong with me, and it's almost like a need to feel special, in my opinion. Don't label yourself with something. If you label yourself with I'm obese, that means I can't do anything about it. I have a disease, I can't change. Well, yes, you can eat less food and now you're not obese anymore. So that's not a disease. It's exactly the same with depression. I'm depressed, I can't do anything about it. That is who I am. It's that limiting belief. And when you talk to yourself in that way, you are reinforcing in your brain that is who you are. So you need to stop talking to yourself like that. You don't have a disease, you don't have a disorder. It's just something that you're struggling with, which is even based in evolution, as we spoke about earlier. It's not a big deal. It's something that you can do, you can change, you can improve if you follow the tips in this video and actually apply the tips. Write them down and apply them every single day. If you really feel the need to go and see your doctor, then absolutely you should. I would never tell you not to do that. But I do want you to understand two things about going to see your doctor. First of all, almost no doctors have a nutrition background. It's very rare you will meet a doctor that actually understands anything about nutrition. So I would definitely consider that. And also, don't let your doctor tell you that it's some kind of disease or something that you cannot change, because you can change it. The reason that is appealing to you is because it's easy. If you have something wrong with you, well, guess what? You don't have to do anything about it. If I'm telling you that you can do something about it, but it's going to require effort and hard work, which is what it is, then that doesn't sound very appealing. So it's easier to just give up and say that you can't do anything about it. That's not true. The video I want you guys to go and click on next is on screen right now. It's how you can actually lose weight or get ripped and not have to focus so much on your nutrition, not having to obsess over every little thing that you eat. And that video is going to show you how to do that. And I think that's very important for you guys with the challenges that you have, because it creates a healthier relationship around weight loss. So I recommend you go watch that video right now.